Hello everyone, I am here with Lizz Pellet. Liz is here in Los Angeles with me, and she is going to do a pre-conference workshop, a 3-hour small group workshop at ERE's conference coming up in San Diego. But for now, and that workshop, by the way, is on culture and branding. But for now, we are talking on a subject that is, well, at least related. Liz is talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly in terms of how companies have handled their management of their workforces through this economic recession. So that we end on a good note, let's start with the ugly. Take it away, Liz. Tell us about the ugly.
Hey, thanks, Todd. I'm looking forward to the conference. You know, I was reading a couple articles that were recently posted on ERE.net, and one of them was from Kevin Wheeler, and it was on we should be ashamed and how we're treating people in this economic downturn from a recruitment perspective. And the other was by Dr. John Sullivan, who really started talking about who owns our brand with all the social network and social media. And just in doing some of the research for the conferences and client engagements that I do, finding information, I really do want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we'll end with the good. So the ugly is someone like Hyatt Hotels in Boston, where they knew they had to reduce their budget, and they had to let over 150 housekeepers go. And instead of going through this downsizing, they were kind of sneaky in the way they did it. They brought in replacements and told the employees that they were just training these workers so that they could have more time off and more vacation. And once these folks were trained and up to speed, they ended up laying off the entire housekeeping staff. Now, how does this apply to brand? Both consumer and employment. The employees were outraged that their colleagues got let go. And besides that, the city of Boston, the mayor, called for a potential boycott of Hyatt. That is the ugly of brand damage. Let's look at the bad. Well, with social media and social networking, I think John Sullivan's article was brilliant about who really owns brand. We take a look at more and more accounts on the social media and social networking of employees who are twittering through their entire termination experience. If you go on to Google and you just Google Yahoo termination Twitter, you will get a tweet-by-tweet account of an experience that Emily West had in being terminated from Yahoo. Fortunately for Yahoo, I think it was handled in a way that didn't do devastating brand damage, but yet it did significantly damage the brand. Two ways, consumer and again employees. One, the employees, of course, didn't know that there was going to be another round of layoffs until they showed up that morning with the TV cameras and the managers walking around and Sharpie signs posted on the doors where they were taking the employees. So that kind of hurt employee confidence to a degree. And the other was the consumer, again, seeing that Yahoo was downsizing yet again from December to February is a real blow to the organization. So brand damage, it really should be considered in any kind of the downsizing that we're doing. Take the good. Let's end with the good. So Beth Israel Hospital, again, in Boston, they had to cut $20 million from their budget. Well, instead of just slashing jobs, usually going to the lower end and taking cuts there, the CEO kind of had an all-hands-on meeting, called upon the employees to do some solution generation. And some of the things that they surfaced on ways of what they would be willing to do, not only for their colleagues, but for the community, was just fascinating. One thing they did was they agreed to, let's just get rid of the employee barbecue. That cost $50,000 right there. Others said, we'll take pay cuts or pay freezes and maybe not take a bonus this year in order to save our colleagues' job. So it really created a more of a esprit de corps. Brand damage? No, 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 no. What they did was they really increased the esprit de corps with the employee population by saying, let's all pitch in and do this together. We know it's going to hurt, but so, you know, let's be in this together. Again, esprit de corps. And then the community looked so favorably on the organization for really trying to do their best to save over 450 families from going without income. And the fact that the CEO then took to his blog with this information, again, bring in the social media piece. Here's a CEO of a very large healthcare system actually taking the time to blog about running a hospital in these critical times.
Let me ask you, is it more about what you do or is it how you do it? I've read a little bit about Paul Levy from Beth Israel Deaconess, and he seems like a pretty nice guy, and he seems like a benevolent guy, and believe me, I'm not taking anything away from what he did. It actually seems wonderful. At the same time, though, it seems like there are companies that perhaps, for legitimate reasons, have to lay people off, unfortunately, while they grow in other divisions.
Right.
And is it partly that just Paul Levy was in a position where he could pull this off, and in other companies, unfortunately, maybe they shouldn't or maybe they can't, and they're just unfortunately faced with a horrible decision, and there's not that much they can do about it?
No, you raise a really good question. You take a technology company, for instance, or a manufacturing company, who's in one plant or one area, they aren't doing well. There's no profitability. And in another area, they're doing well. And if they shut one plant down to give those resources to the other plant or to the other technology, then they would boost profit and revenue. That's a tough business decision to make. I would agree. But I think the Paul Levys of the world are really the ones who step back and go, from a cultural perspective, who are we? And from a values point of view, what do we value? Here we are, a nonprofit organization, a healthcare organization, providing benefits to our community and to our employees. So I think they really did a good job of stepping back and identifying and doing some soul searching around what can we do, and stepped out of the box and actually included the employees in some of the solution generation. So,
and I'll let you go after this question, but so you're saying that what Hyatt did, they could have taken a similar action to the action they took. It's how they took the action. You're not saying that getting rid of these housekeepers was absolutely beyond the pale. It's the way they went about it.
Well, I think Hyatt was in a sticky situation too. If you look at the fact that they had union employees, which they were, by bringing in a lower paid organization and outsourcing to a vendor where they could pay half the salary, that's a business decision that had to be made, and Hyatt goes ahead and says that in their press release. But it's the way they go about it. Again, it's about being values-based as an organization, and if you knew that you were going to be replacing these workers, then let's be upfront and say, we really need you to train these new workers to come in and help us. We can't afford this budget item any longer. We found a way to do it just as good with less money output, hard dollar output, and here's a bonus to help us, carry us through. We're really sorry that we've been forced to do that. That's one way to do that in honoring the human spirit. But to be kind of sneaky and basically say, we're bringing these employees in so we'll cover your vacation, and then to let these people go, I just think that's pretty blatant. I, for one, am no longer a Hyatt fan.
Thanks for talking about all of this today. I appreciate it, and we are looking forward to your workshop at ERE's conference in San Diego coming up in March 2010. 2010 sounds awfully futuristic to me, but lo and behold, it's only a couple months away.
Right.
Thanks.
Thanks. See you there.